Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Wells Adams reveals if he is ready to step in as a full-time Bachelor in Paradise host.
It's like when you're at a job and you're there for like 17 years and like you've never gotten a promotion and you're just like, when's it gonna be my turn? I'm kind of there with that.
Noah breaks Abigail's heart while Ivan gets caught up in a Paradise scandal. Plus, we're breaking down everything else you need to know about this week's Paradise Prom. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, welcome to Here for the Right Reasons.
Christina, how are you feeling after a 3-hour episode of Bachelor in Paradise?
Longer than a movie. Like, we didn't need it. We didn't need it.
We certainly did not, but it gave us plenty to talk about. A couple different things.
And that is true. It did give us a lot to talk about, but before we break it all down, I know that you recently had a conversation with Wells Adams.
I did. And, Wells was the guest host of Paradise this week, kind of, playing up this whole thing of why wasn't he the host to begin with? So I had to ask him, do you want that gig? What's going on there? Here's Wells. What do you say or how do you respond when fans or, Cousin Greg from Succession want you to be the full-time BIP host versus maybe having some celebrity friends helping you out?
Yeah, I'd be a cheaper option for ABC, that's for sure. And by the way, Cousin Greg, aka Nick. I met Nick long ago, like the best guy in the world. Him and Sarah are like old friends. I appreciate that. I agree. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time. It's like when you're at a job and you're there for like 17 years and like you've never gotten a promotion and you're just like, when's it going to be my turn? I'm kind of there with that, but listen, it's fun doing Paradise. And I just love the fact that like, for the most part, Bachelor Nation appreciates me and you love me. You really love me.
Would you ever want to host The Bachelor? We don't know who's doing that yet.
Would I ever want to have the easiest, best paying job in the world and say 4 lines a day and then go sit in the hotel room? Yeah, I think Tom Hanks would take this job, Sarah, at this point. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
All right, I'm just asking. I don't know. Maybe you don't want to be gone for a couple months. I don't know.
Yes.
Well, as we know, Wells will not be the full-time Bachelor host anymore since Jesse Palmer is now filling that role. What do you think about that?
Oh my God, I have so many thoughts. I mean, my first instinct was like, this is kind of weird. He hasn't really been associated with The Bachelor in so long. And he's kind of like Chris Harrison again, similar vibes. But then at the same time, he is a professional host at this point. Mm-hmm. They probably wanted someone who they could just throw right in there after we heard Tayshia and Caitlyn had some learning curves. And he has been doing so much with ABC, The Ultimate Surfer, The Proposal. I feel like he's been waiting for this moment for years.
You're so right. He does have that tie with ABC. He's obviously with ESPN as well. So he's definitely going to kind of have I feel like a seamless transition. But yes, he is Chris Harrison 2.0.
Yeah. And part of me is a little upset just because I feel like there has been an added element to Caitlyn and Tayshia, at least with Katie, of her opening up to them, when Greg left and Caitlyn was at the bathroom door, all that stuff. I feel like it was needed. And now it's here are going to be 2 football player dudes. We're going to know, I don't know, but we'll see. I think he's definitely a good host and it makes sense. But it's also kind of just a little boring.
It is a little boring. Yes. Makes sense on paper, but maybe I was reading the comments and everyone's Wells. People really wanted Wells to kind of fill this position. And I think he really wanted it too, but maybe for Paradise, who knows? As we know, Wells gets a front row seat to all the couples falling in love. And one of those unexpected relationships was Becca and Thomas. So here's what he had to say to you about that one.
Thomas, also kind of controversial. Becca, very beloved. Do you think that there are red flags with Thomas? Do you think, he was there for the right reasons?
Yeah, I don't know. I personally like Thomas. He is a guy that is very good at speaking. And as someone who's a radio host, I appreciate that. So it wasn't a red flag for me that he's well spoken. That's a weird thing to get on someone for. I think the concern is that, Becca has a tendency to not choose the best guys in the world. But for this, I do think that Thomas is a good guy. I think he's kind of getting a bad rap because a lot of people hated him in the past. And so I don't think it's an apples to apples comparison. And I'm rooting for both of them. Like I like both of them, and we kind of haven't seen a lot of them the past couple episodes. So I'm totally team Becca and Thomas right now.
I don't know. Are you still on the Thomas and Becca train?
A little bit. I don't know. I want to be. I feel as though it's going to be like a classic, like how I was so in love with Andy Dorfman and Josh Murray, and then I found out he was horrible. I don't know if that's going to be what happens, but I've been saying Thomas gave me Josh vibes since the second he walked up on Katie's season.
Right.
Just like his vibe and like his tall and a dark and handsome and kind of a little sketchy. But Wells made a good point. Like, who are we to say that him being able to be well-spoken is a bad quality and necessarily makes him like an F-boy? Time will tell. I worry about Becca, but they seem pretty solid. I don't know. What do you think?
I totally agree with you. And I didn't make the Josh Murray connection until you said that, but it's spot on. Right? Like he definitely has like, even like the little like scruff on the face is just like Josh Murray's as well.
He knows he's pretty and he can use it. I'm not saying he does. Like, I don't know this guy at all. This is just based on my television screen. And like I've said before, I don't know if ABC wants me to like him. I really don't know. So this is going to be one that I will, either they're going to like elope and get married at the end of the year, or like she's going to have to write a tell-all book too. Like it's one or the other.
It's one, no in between. All right. Well, let's get into last night's episode and sum it up with our Bachelor buzzwords. What was that for you?
Mine was real world for two reasons. One, because I felt like they were all really like, all the couples were talking very candidly about whether this could work in the real world. Noah and Abigail, Kenny and Mari, who I feel like have had the same storyline for the last 3 episodes. Seriously. And then somehow come to the conclusion that they're solid, which makes me think they're not solid. And this is kind of a bold comparison, but they kind of give me Grant and Lace vibes.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Not to totally equate like Lace to Mari, but like something about it where it's like they want it to work so bad and they're like feeling this connection, but like it's just going to implode.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, no, you're so right. They both want this happy ending for the two of them, and they're trying to fight for something that may not be there.
Yeah. And then also Real World, because of yours, it was just like so classic prom. Like whose prom date didn't go off and make out with somebody else? You know what I mean?
Totally. Yes. Of course, Paradise Prom was the buzzword of the night. They did this huge 80s theme prom. Some people were asked with these gigantic promposals. Well, not really gigantic. They just held up a sign. And then others like Tia didn't get the invite, but still went. And that's kind of takes us into who we're shipping this week, right?
Yes. I mean, this is like, again, the Becca and Thomas, I'm so confused by it, but I'm low-key. A good sign is how Tia has been like third wheeling with them. And like when they saw them dancing, I feel like if he was super controlling of a guy, he would like, we don't really know. We only see glimpses, but that gives me a little bit of a sign of, oh, like he's cool. Like Becca's one of Tia's best friends. Like they're all hanging out together. That's good. Like he's embracing her. They're so funny on Instagram. Like she clearly they're all clearly like friends. And that's a good sign because if like, I feel like Josh Murray was not going to let Amanda be out there, grinding with whatever, you know what I mean? Like that was a good sign of like of a friendship. So I was shipping that friendship and that little trio.
Yeah. You're trying to make this happen. You're trying to make this.
Yeah. What about
you? Joe and Serena. I mean, they're prom king and queen. Like they are definitely the paradise couple. The ones, I don't know. I feel like they really, really do like each other or really do love each other, which we see in the, in the trailer for next week that they really do drop the L word. And I don't know. I feel like this relationship might work. And they even say in the show that, we have a plan for when we're done with this. I would love to know what that plan is, but hopefully it works out for them.
The love is there. The reality, I'm not so sure. But again, there's a lot here that I feel like I usually know what's going to happen. And a lot of these couples have me confused.
Yes, very confused. Very confused. All right. What about your best line of the night?
Oh my God, there were so many.
There were a lot.
For once. The quick honorable mention to when Noah, when Aaron went to go talk to McKenna, and he went from San Diego to Canada real quick because Aaron got like this weird accent, like, you want to go talk? Okay. It was weird.
I forgot about that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was like, Noah's kind of funny. I really like him.
Yeah.
But my lines of the night have to go to the reactions to this whole Aaron, Ivan fight, and then Ivan leaving, which I know we'll get into. But when he was leaving and he said, I'm not trying to say goodbye to this bro. And then Riley getting all deep with him, like, come on, bro, we're supposed to be better than that. Like, it was just so serious and so bro-y and it was good.
I feel like Riley was about to shed some real tears about this too.
Yeah, Riley seems like such a good guy, and I guess he just has Ivan on. He had higher expectations for him, and I mean, we'll get into it, but I guess it's more about like playing Chelsea or like playing someone than like breaking the rules. But they also have all been on their like high horse this whole season about like the rules of paradise. So like imagine you've been there for like 20 days, another guy broke the rules, and you just spent like 3 weeks talking about Brendan and Piper and Chris and Alana and all those people in the rules. And it's like your bro now breaks the rules. You're just like, the Paradise Police are tired.
Too much. It's too much. Remember Chris and Alana? I totally forgot about that. That was only like 2 weeks ago. Mine goes to Chelsea. She talking about Aaron says, as far as I'm concerned, he can kick rocks barefoot. He effed up my prom. Lame. What is with Aaron? He needs to go.
There is so much to talk about with Aaron.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, the Ivan thing. I mean, the whole thing rubbed me the wrong way to begin with because they weren't ever fighting about Chelsea. They were always fighting about rose hunting and who was whatever. But for Aaron to have the audacity, I'm not saying that Ivan was right, but for Aaron to have the audacity to make it such a big deal, accuse him of rose hunting, make it seem like he had this connection with Chelsea and he doesn't want anyone to take it from him, to then not even warn Chelsea his prom date that he was going to go pull Tia aside and make out with her aggressively. Like, dude, I don't know. What is wrong with him?
What is wrong with him? There really is something wrong with him. And it's like, are you just trying to just stay around for just another rose? Like, do you want a connection? What is your purpose here now? I don't understand.
Was he trying to get Chelsea's rose because he wanted to make a move on Tia? Like, when did he decide to make this move on Tia? Was he drunk at this prom and just did it? That's fine, but then own that too. Like, explain it. Like, it to me, I'm going to have to think that he was quote unquote rose hunting and he wanted that Chelsea rose because he wanted to see who else came down. Even though he said no to McKenna, he clearly didn't have interest in her, which was weird. And that, not that he has to, but like, he made it seem like Chelsea was like it, like he self-imploded. Was he trying to stir the pot? Did he think the prom needed drama? Does he actually like Tia? Was he making a move? Was he drunk? Like, I have questions.
Yeah, and I was like a little disappointed in Tia too, because I'm like, Tia, you're so much better than that. You don't need Aaron. Like you just go off and do your own thing. Like you don't need Aaron. Like, I don't know. I was a little disappointed in that.
And your thirst was Aaron's
move on. Oh, totally. Yes. That was the thirstiest move one of the thirstiest moves I've ever seen on this show, because he, like you said, he's just rose hunting. He just wants to stick around for another week, get some more airtime and maybe cause some drama. So people are talking about him. That's just what I feel like his purpose is now. And he is definitely emerging more as a villain now than Thomas.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm. And it's also, I mean, it is the name of the game, right? You're exploring your connections, whatever. Right. But for them to come down the stairs and the way they aired it, at least, him not acknowledge Chelsea, them to be dancing in front of everyone, that's also when I don't like it. Like, it's fine to, mix things up. Like, I guess he doesn't owe anything to Chelsea necessarily, but if you don't want to look like a bad guy, you got to have the conversation. You got to, cover your bases, and you can't just do it in front of everyone. That's the problem.
Definitely. Oof. All right. Well, let's move on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What was your thirstiest moment of the night?
Oh, my thirst was just Anna and McKenna's arrivals. I know it's not their fault, but thinking about the fact that McKenna went to that VIP party, 5 days ago, and then sat in a hotel room to come to Paradise. It's just a lot, It
is a lot. I do. You feel bad for them, but it's also it's not necessary. We don't need to see these really, really late arrivals. We want to see more of the relationships that we're kind of already invested in. And I don't know, maybe Anna and James have a connection now. I don't know, but I don't even think that we are really even going to care since next week's the finale.
Yeah, that's fine. They'll have a 2-day romance for summer fling for 2 days, a weekend abroad. But it just is so silly. I really think they need to just bring these people earlier. Yeah. What's the point? Why not just throw extra people on the beach earlier? And then if they want to take away the roses, throw a little bachelor pad in there and have people have to compete for the rose to give it out. And then we don't have to have as many people on the beach, but don't bring people when the proposals are happening in 2 days. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. It really is. All right, let's talk about our cringeworthy moment of the night.
My quick one, just to keep going on Anna, is Anna and James' churro situation. Why is this whole season about eating food off each other? It's so
gross. I was thinking that too. I'm why? I don't understand. Come up with something a little bit more creative than that.
Literally make them play a game or something. Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
It's right. It's not even a getting to know you type of thing. It's just let's make food and sex and put them together, and maybe it was just gross.
What about yours?
Going back to Ivan, when he was getting caught in that lie, when Chelsea confronted him, I was getting secondhand embarrassment for him. It was so bad. he did not have a plan going into that at all. And I'm sure he felt like he was going to get called out on it, but you could just see the beads of sweat dripping out down his face.
I know. I was so confused on that. First of all, I love that they like played the tapes. I feel like I saw a tweet that's like, we're always yelling at the TV, like, roll back the footage. Like, we have footage of this. We can solve this problem. They finally did. Like, we saw he was the one who pulled Chelsea aside. Like, case closed. He's lying. He's like spinning a web. It's going like too far. And he clearly wanted to get Chelsea's rose because he was hoping that, Alexa would be there. And the only thing I will say in Ivan's defense is this is clearly a producer situation. Like, and I would think that the producers told him that Alexa was coming, stick it out, try to make it. And then this whole found her phone, the producer's phone, and saw her room number. Like, I saw another tweet that like was the lock screen, like, oh, Alexa's number. Like, how did he get in the phone? They either set him up or this doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up. I almost felt a little bad for him in a way because it did seem like he was just kind of set up to fail. And I don't know. I would have liked to have seen the conversation that he had with Alexa afterwards to kind of like wrap this up a little bit. They made this seem like this was the most scandalous thing to ever happen on Bachelor in Paradise. It wasn't. I mean, do we remember Corinne? Do we remember Tamar? Like, there's a lot more scandalous things that have happened on this show. And I think him sneaking off to hook up with a girl at a hotel room probably wasn't the most scandalous thing ever.
Yeah, and there is the argument also, like, because as I was watching it, I was like, oh, Ivan, like, I'm so sad. Like, I really liked you. And there's definitely a little snaky, slimy stuff going on there with the Chelsea stuff. And again, you going to use someone else to get to someone it's the low-key the name of the game of the show, but it's also just messed up. So they either have to fix that, like find a way to like get people to stay, like one time they get to like, press their button and they're like, I'm going to stay this week without a rose and take a risk. But if I don't get one, then I actually have to go home. Like they need to change the rules because it's too messy to use people this much. I think for a show that's supposed to be about love, if there was a money element, it'd be different. But since the end game is love. But if the end game is love and Ivan has a connection with Alexa, then should we be mad at Ivan for Alexa?
No, that's true. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Some rules need to be changed, and some people can just kind of get away with not getting a rose for that week because it puts too much pressure on it, and you're not there for the connections. You're just there for the airtime, which I think we see on so much.
So there has to be something. But my rose goes to Alexa from Peter's season, just for stirring the pot.
Yeah. Totally. That is a good one. Mine went to Ed because even though, I mean, he did like kind of go out on the date with Natasha, he did see that McKenna was, really upset about not having anybody to go out with. And he kind of went out there and said like, let's just go have a good time. So I don't know. I kind of liked Ed in that moment.
Yeah, it was a little cringe when she was like shutting him down. Yes. I was like, McKenna, like, this isn't going to look good if you like, just like go on the date with Ed, get some screen time. Like you're here. Like, why not? Like,
right. Totally. Who do you want to go see packing?
Okay, Natasha. I love her. And I've been saying this for weeks, but now we're at the point where it looks kind of silly and sad that she's still there. And like, don't be crying over Ed. Like, it's just not worth it. Like, leave while you can. Like, anyone who's not in a solid relationship, like, should have left last week. Like, you didn't need to go to prom. You didn't, like, it just, like, it's time to go. It's time to go.
I totally agree with you. And what about Noah? Like, what happened there? Like, go home, Noah. Like, you told this girl that you were falling in love with her, and then the next day you're like, I don't know if you're my person.
Okay, hot take. I low-key am Team Noah in this.
Really? Okay, tell me why.
Okay, I wanted Abigail to be the Bachelorette. I was like a big proponent of Abigail. But based on what we're seeing in Paradise, at least, and again, maybe they just didn't show us, she's not giving Noah anything.
That's true.
And I feel like this whole relationship has been like him giving like 70%, her giving like 30%, and they have like good silly moments together, but whenever he tries to get deep, maybe they don't show it, but she just like doesn't answer, and she's doubting their relationship to Wells, so can she really be upset that he's doubting it? Like, did he go about it the right way? Probably not. Like, I love you, now I'm over you. Doesn't necessarily add up, but I think it just didn't sit right with him. Like, the I love you was his hope that like, if I say it, she'll open up to me. And according to him, she didn't respond. So I don't really get what he's supposed to do.
That's true. That is true. I mean, I wish she had given, or she was, who knows, maybe we'll see next episode if she's able to kind of articulate how she's feeling about him. And maybe he just kind of got scared in the moment and was like, I don't want to get my heart broken, so I'm going to do it first. Maybe that was kind of the mindset that he was going in. But we said last week, we hardly saw their story play out at all this season. We forgot that they were even still together. So I think maybe this is a shock to us. Who knows? Maybe it's not so much a shock to them.
Yeah, I think those two are confusing to me because everyone also keeps saying like, oh, they're one of the strongest couples on the beach. And like, they definitely have had moments. They also were both at Governor's Ball this weekend, which I was at, and they did not interact. So,
interesting.
Okay, spoiler alert. But who else did you want to have here?
Oh my God. So the teaser for next week, obviously it's the finale, the engagements are happening, and then Kendall walks down on the beach. Like, what? Girl, go home.
What could she possibly be there for?
Just to break up Joe and Serena. Like, it's over.
I mean, I hope that it's some weird, like, deranged, like, her feeling guilty about it and wanting to go give Joe, like, a blessing. But either way, like, you don't need it. Go home, Kendall. It's not worth it.
It's, like, already my cringe for next week.
I just don't know what else it could possibly be. Like, Kendall. Like, she's like, apologizing to Joe. But even that, like, call him when you get home. Like, that was a lot. If I, like, made that experience worse for you, like, I'm sorry. Like, I was clearly, like, in my head about it. Like, I shouldn't have gone. Don't show up again. Like, just go home.
No. And it's like, but you're so right. Like, even if she needs a blessing, like, I don't need my ex's blessing to go move on with somebody else. Like, don't need it.
Especially when, like, you've already made it about you, like, a week ago.
So uncomfortable. Well, that's it for this week's episode. I can't believe next week is the finale.
It's like, it's time, but I can't, you know what I can't believe is that there's only 1 week off until the Bachelorette starts.
It's only 1 week? Oh my God.
1 week.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, we're going to be recapping it every single week. And I know you have a big guest on this week's podcast, right?
Yes, Kelly Flanagan, formerly of Kelly and Peter, should be recapping with me on the podcast. So hopefully we get a good game of Bachelor regrets out of her.
Definitely. Can't wait. Well, make sure you take a listen to that and check back every Tuesday for Here for the Right Reasons on Us Weekly's YouTube channel. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. And Sarah and I will be here next week recapping the big finale.
Bye.